Good morning from Blackpool Pleasure Beach, where the sun is shining and I'm here for late night riding. That's right, the rides are open all the way from 10 AM through until 10 PM. 12 hours of getting on some of my favourite rides here in the UK, including Icon, the big one, and many other of my favourite attractions. So yeah, it's great to be here for a late night riding. My first 10 o'clock close of the 2020 season. Obviously throughout the season they have 10 o'clock closes that normally have fireworks as well. Because of social distancing measures, there's no fireworks this year, but that does mean that we're going to get the rides through until 10 o'clock. Normally they close the big one and Icon a little bit earlier, and along with a few other rides, just so they can prepare the site ready for the fireworks. But there's no need for that because there is no fireworks. So that means we're going to get a good hour's worth of night rides tonight on the big one, Icon. They're the two that I really want to prioritise getting a night ride on this evening. And of course we'll get on loads of other attractions here as well. But yeah, 12 hours of riding here at Pleasure Beach. In terms of the entrance procedure, it is still pre-book only at the moment, much like many theme parks out there, so you do need to pre-book a ticket. The entrance procedure is really efficient again this morning actually. Doesn't seem too busy so far. I mean, they've let us in about 20 minutes prior to 10 AM, just so queues don't really build up down at the entrance. But if you do want to see all those entrance procedures, check out our vlog from July 2020 that me and Charlotte filmed just over a month ago. No Charlotte today, I'm riding solo. However, Charlotte is going to be joining me in the next vlog starting from tomorrow. Our next vlog series from Great Yarmouth. We're going to be doing Great Yarmouth Pleasure Beach, Pettitt's Animal Park, Joyland, and also Pleasurewood Hills as well. So make sure you stay tuned for those vlogs here on Theme Park Worldwide. Right, let's get started. I think it'd be rude not to make my way down to Icon, wouldn't it, and start my visit here to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Let's see if anything's changed since my last visit about 6 weeks ago. Let's go. It's always a great sight, isn't it? Especially when the sun's shining like it is today. Absolutely gorgeous for riding on all of these different attractions. And there she is, Icon. Looking forward to getting on. So yeah, we'll make our way around this way. Gates are open, it's 9:58. So yeah, let's start off the day with a ride on Icon. And as always, I'll share plenty of off-ride footage. I plan on actually having a walk around the perimeter of the park today, around the outside. So some of the footage you'll see off-ride of some of the attractions here at Pleasure Beach, I'll be taking from outside the perimeter. So I'll be putting all that footage in throughout today's vlog. Here we go, Icon the ride. Oh, isn't she gorgeous? It's always great to get back on Icon, the park's double launch roller coaster, manufactured by Mack Rides, that of course opened here in 2018. Brilliant ride, and as mentioned in our vlog from last month here from the Pleasure Beach, face coverings are required on some of the rides here at the park, including Icon, but there is clear signage at the entrance to the queue lines on which rides you need to wear a face covering on. But yeah, in terms of the ride, it was running really well. Managed to get on the back row just as well. It was just by chance. I mean, at the moment, there's no front row queue. You can't actually pick where you are seated on Icon. You literally just queue up and then a member of staff will guide you to where you're seated and the air gate which you need to go in to board Icon. But yeah, I managed to get on the back row. Of course, the 16 seats on Icon, they're filling up all the rows. So yeah, I was lucky enough to get on the back. So hopefully I'll get a back row later on in the day. With this coaster running for 12 hours today, as we all know with Icon, it really does warm up throughout the day. So I look forward to getting on it later. Anyway, the big one's open today. Of course, when we was here last time, the big one was closed last month due to high winds. It's a beautiful day for it today. There's not even a breeze in the air, so I'm going to go and join the queue for the big one. I imagine it's going to be quite a wait, but I don't mind. Not been on it for a long time, so I'm looking forward to getting back on there, seeing how it's riding. And normally with the big one, normally runs a little bit smoother earlier on in the day than it does later. But of course, I'll definitely be trying to get a night ride on there later. So yeah, let's head over to the big one. In fact, you can hear that pretty iconic lift hill in the background as well. It's a noisy one, isn't it? Let's go over to the big one. Manufactured by Aerodynamics, it's a hypercoaster. Once the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the world, but it's still up there as an iconic ride here for the UK theme park industry. So we'll head around there and let's go on the big one. Here's some off-ride footage. Lots of off-ride footage there from the big one here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and lots of the shots that you saw there were from outside the park, from walking around the perimeter. And like I say, you get some gorgeous shots of the rides, especially the big one that of course opened in 1994. Waited 55 minutes there for the big one, running 2 trains, filling up all of the rows on there. And also as well, it's worth pointing out that Speedy Pass is now back in operation here as well. That's a paid fast track service, and of course that does affect the waiting time of the main queues, but luckily they've not oversold it. It's quite clear about that. In fact, there was no Speedy Pass queue, it was just a slow sort of trickle of people coming up to ride. So yeah, you can tell they've not fully sold loads of Speedy Pass like they normally would do in the summer, but yeah, they are now selling it again. So it's worth pointing out, if you see people coming up, of course, yeah, it will be Speedy Pass that are coming on to ride. But yeah, it didn't really slow down the main queue too much at all. It was just a slow trickle of people. In terms of the social distancing measures in the queue line, they've got lots and lots of cattle pen, as you saw, but they've spread it out nicely, so there's more than a metre. I'd say 1.5 to 2 metres in most areas. And then what's the normal part of the queue line? They've put like a red board up that's all painted in the colours of the big one, of course, where it wouldn't be 1 metre normally. So they put all that boards up, and also as well, they've got a member of staff on the entrance of the queue line who's got a microphone, and he's actually just saying, yeah, you know, come on through. We've got markers down on the floor. You know, make sure you're wearing your face mask. Just giving people a bit of information about what they can expect with the social distancing. So yeah, really good and quite impressive what I've seen so far there. Of course, it does mean that people need to follow this. Quite a few people in some of these queues have been directly standing behind me, especially on the big one. You know, I was waiting behind the yellow line on the marker, and there was another group directly behind me. But you know, please, when you come into these theme parks, make sure you are following the social distancing rules in place. Even if you don't want to follow them, other people do. So you know, you've got to think of everybody else. You've got to put other people first and think of what they want to do and respect their decisions when you come to these parks. Anyway, beautiful weather for it. Let's go for a lap round on the Pleasure Beach Express. Should be coming round shortly. So yeah, let's go for a nice ride round on there. And of course, I can take you along for the ride on that one. So it might be getting quite busy today here at the Pleasure Beach, but there's no queue just here for the Pleasure Beach Express. They've actually changed the queue line and loading procedure here. Normally you just wait anywhere along the platform here for the train to come in, but now they've put all this fencing down the side and all the rope just to queue people in a straight line down here so they can maintain that social distancing. Before, there was no markers or anything on the platform just here, because people could just jump on where they wanted. But yeah, now they've put all this down here. So we'll go and jump on the Pleasure Beach Express right at the front of the queue, and here it is, just coming round. Off we go then on the Jeffrey Thompson OBE train here on the Pleasure Beach Express. Just noticed to put some new fencing up down here actually. I'm surprised that this wasn't done sooner. Be able to put some green fencing up just here, especially with how close the ride area is there for the big one. Talking to the big one, a pretty big queue for it just up there. But yeah, like I say, 55 minutes really for a major roller coaster like that is to be expected really on a day like today. In terms of the Pleasure Beach Express, trains normally run about every 15 minutes. On a hot day, you just have to leave the train in the station for a little bit longer than normal, just to let the engine cool down a little bit. As we make our way down this way, under the bridge and through the tunnel, we get some absolutely awesome views of Icon when we come out the other side. It really does make Blackpool Pleasure Beach just how many rides are so close to each other. Of course, just here you can see 4 coasters in this shot alone. Icon, the Big Dipper, Infusion and the big one. And here comes Icon, pretty much perfect timing there for the second section of the ride. What a beauty. Tell you what though, it looks like people are following the social distancing markers over in the Icon queue. They were this morning actually when I went on there as well, which is good to see. Hey, Big Dipper. That's what really makes this park. It's all the rides being so close to each other and the interactions. Don't think I'll be riding Infusion today. Even if it was walk on, I wouldn't have rode it. But yeah, there you go, that's the queue. All the way up the steps there and out the top actually, out the front entrance. Look at that, pretty big queue over there for Infusion. the park's SLC. Of course, used to be known as Traumatizer. It was painted red and blue at Southport Pleasureland. Of course, that was the previous vlog to this one that I uploaded on the channel, so check it out. Southport Pleasureland now has got different owners. But yeah, it did used to be owned by the Thompsons, who own Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Epic views of the big one from down here. Some of them shots that you saw just when I was on the big one were taken from just down here on the car park. That's the car park for the Boulevard Hotel. And you get some great shots down there of the big one. Gorgeous shots there of the Big Dipper and also the big one making their way around the circuits here at Pleasure Beach. Just thought I'd show you the view looking backwards here on the train as well. It's definitely worth doing this looking the other way. The train actually used to go backwards, so some of the scenes that you go into are actually designed to be seen facing this way, such as the sign that we can see up there saying on safari. You know, this is only stuff what you see if you look backwards, because like I say, it was designed originally to go the other way around the track. But yeah, you get some great views if you just sit on the back row here and look backwards throughout the ride. Valley of the Dinosaurs, another sign that you probably wouldn't have seen before unless you've spun around the other way. Or of course you actually rode the Pleasure Beach Express when it went around the other way. As we can see here, they've actually put some more of that green fence in here on the right hand side as well. Of course, safety first. Safety is always paramount. On-ride footage there from a nice relaxing ride round on the Pleasure Beach Express. One of my favourites, especially on a busy day here at the park. You can just sit there and soak in the atmosphere. And I've just been out of the park for about 90 minutes. I just had a walk around getting them perimeter shots that you're seeing throughout this vlog today. Also went to Wetherspoons just down the road. Of course, you've got the Velvet Coaster that's absolutely fantastic. It's located literally 5 minutes walk from the park, straight down on the seafront. Come back in. Very, very busy now. The queue for Grand National all the way over by the fountains. I'll show you that in just a moment. And yeah, we'll carry on this afternoon here at the park. But yeah, it's always nice sort of to nip out, have a walk around the perimeter, especially on a long day like today. Normally at this time of year, you'd have the spectacular hot ice show. Of course, it's had to be cancelled due to social distancing. It's a shame because it's such an absolutely awesome show. A big, talented cast of skaters, fantastic special effects, and an awesome soundtrack. But yeah, it has been cancelled for this year, but it will be happening again next year in 2021, of course, if all goes to plan. Love the hot ice show, and it really breaks up the day, especially on a 12-hour day here at the park. And when it's a hot day, you can get in there, it's nice and cool, and you can enjoy a fantastic ice show that's included in admission as well. Anyway, going to carry on then in the afternoon, do a few more rides here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Let's go. Just had a ride then on the flying machines, waited about 15 minutes. Glorious ride in the sunshine. Get lots of breeze from up on there. You just don't really want to be doing that on a cold day because it's very, very windy. But yeah, along with that, I also had a ride on Derby Racer and waited about 10 minutes there for that. Not too bad at all, really. Massive queues though now, especially around here at the Ghost Train. Look at this, the queue's all the way down to the bottom there on the Ghost Train and back up this way. So I reckon that's maybe, what, 40 minutes at a guess? Hey, what a tune. Just walk past the Grand National as well. That's a massive queue, so I'm going to give that a miss. Head down to Icon, have another go on Icon. But yeah, some pretty big queues in some areas, and then in other places they're not too bad. Carry on down this way, of course, trying to follow the markings just here for keeping left. But again, it all depends on if people follow them, doesn't it, really? You know, it's a mix, it really is, at all of these parts that we've been to. But yeah, certainly interesting to see it a bit busier here today and just see how the park's coping, really. You know, had they let too many in today? Maybe for some of the rides, but then other bits aren't too bad. So it's one of those, isn't it? Some of the pathways seem all right, like this, walking round. So can't really decide on that yet, but later on I'll let you know my thoughts. So I've made my way round to Icon and just thought I'd show you the queue setup just here. So they've actually got the pathway blocked off down at the bottom there by Avalanche, and to access Icon you walk round this way and you can come up next to the big one, and of course it brings you round into the little Icon Plaza area by the shop, and you can come around here and join the queue for Icon. So we'll see how long this is going to be. It's running 3 trains, they're filling the trains up, then you've got to think there is Speedy Pass as well. I reckon this is maybe going to be about 40 minutes or so. But yeah, there we go, we'll see what happens by the time I get on it. I mean, it does move pretty quick, Icon's queue. You've also got a member of staff down here on a microphone now, just keeping everybody informed about what's going on. Fantastic. Awesome ride there on Icon here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. How long did I wait in that queue? It actually took me just under 40 minutes, so it was about 37 minutes to be exact, so not too long really. When you look at that you think, blimey, that is a massive queue. But you've got to think, inside the station, they're loading you up into the air gates, there's no cattle pen so to speak, it's actually straight down once you get in through that entrance archway and down towards the steps. So yeah, you know, in terms of how long it took, just under 40 minutes. So if you are coming here and you look at it and think, blimey, that's a big queue, you've got to think Icon's a very high throughput attraction. Runs 3 trains on a regular basis. It can seat up to 16 riders per train, and they hammer them trains out. So yeah, it's really, really good operations from what I've seen on there. In terms of the pathways, they're not too bad, to be honest. I'd say that in terms of the crowds that are here today, it's of a reasonable level. Of course, the big one's busy with it being that famous signature attraction here, and with it just running the 2 trains. But yeah, overall, I don't think it's too bad. Yes, there's some long waits, but it's quite well organised from what I can see down here, which is great. Just thought I'd show you some changes down here at Skyforce now, because they've actually moved the queue line. So let's go have a look at this. So in terms of that queue line for Skyforce, it runs down here now, so they're using what's normally the disability access entrance as the main entrance just here. As you can see, quite a big queue down here for it, but it's all up against the fence, and of course they put the social distancing markers down there as well. But yeah, just thought I'd give you a bit of an update on Skyforce, just so you don't come around the corner and think, oh, there's nobody waiting in the normal queue. It's because they've moved it just round the corner here opposite Burger King. Makes more sense really, because there's a lot more room down at the side just here. In terms of steeplechase, again, very busy. All 3 tracks running though, which is good to see. You've got the red, yellow and also green tracks all in operation. I'm going to head down and get on a wooden coaster. I'm feeling like maybe going on the Big Dipper, so I'm going to head round that way. Time for a ride then now on the Big Dipper, a nice classic wooden roller coaster here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. We can see the ride just making its way around the top section there. The nice slow turn around there before making its way down that first drop. And on an adventure. Oh, look at that, the big one and the Big Dipper. The evolution of roller coasters right there. But yeah, I'm going to join the queue for Big Dipper. What they've actually done, because of social distancing measures, they've actually put some of the queue line on this side. However, there's not really much social distancing going on, as we can see in the queue. I'm going to go and join it over there, and of course I'll keep my distance the best I can do, so let's go. So I've been waiting about 20 minutes so far for the Big Dipper, which I don't think is too bad. Soon as I started all the way down at the bottom of the path just over there, then crossed over. We've got quite a clear operation going on with the member of staff, just stopping people walking up and crossing over just there. And of course got to go down the steps just here and then straight down towards the station, so maybe another 15 minutes or so. So yeah, I reckon half an hour give or take ready for the Big Dipper. Not too bad really. I'll put in a bit of off-ride footage. absolutely awesome ride there, and very smooth ride actually on the Big Dipper. It originally opened here in 1923, meaning that it's approaching its 100th birthday. How amazing is that? Only 3 years to go until the Big Dipper will be 100 years old. But yeah, that was running really well. You want to try and get really on the non-wheel seats for a smoother ride on the wooden roller coasters. With that, I was quite lucky. I was on row number 3. With the wooden coasters, they are missing rows in between parties at the moment. They have actually got them blocked off permanently to make sure that people aren't sitting next to each other who aren't from the same group. So good operation on the wooden coasters. Going to actually head down to the Grand National shortly, and again I'll put plenty of off-ride shots in because I've got quite a few off-ride shots of the Grand National from outside the park when I walked around the perimeter earlier on. We'll be approaching tea time now, 5 o'clock, so I'll get some food again shortly and just soak up some of the evening atmosphere as the sun starts to go down here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Should be a really nice sunset tonight here in Blackpool, and then of course about an hour's worth I reckon of night rides tonight, so looking forward to it. Massive queue down here for Infusion though, don't fancy waiting in that. That took about 35 minutes in total for the Big Dipper. The queue for Infusion's all the way down here, and it goes up the steps, then it's all the way around the top just there as well, so quite a big queue for the Parks Vekoma SLC. I think I'll pass on that one. Down there towards the river caves. You see some off-ride footage there of Infusion, that SLC. And also a late night riding, because there's no fireworks at the moment, we get a DJ just down here. So let's go and check it out. Of course it'll be better later on at night. I imagine there's some lighting and stuff, but we'll find out. I can hear it, it's raving down here. Awesome atmosphere down here at Bean Street FY4. I imagine that atmosphere is only going to get better later on in the day. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, going on the Grand National now, the Mobius Loop wooden roller coaster. Queue just back to here, but it is straight round. And obviously they're not queuing us in a cattle pen up in the station area because of social distancing. So I don't think this will be too long now. Let's find out. Plenty of off-ride footage there from the absolutely incredible Grand National wooden roller coaster that opened here in 1935. I really enjoyed that ride I had on it just. 6 weeks ago, I had a really rough, horrible ride on it, and then today, that was fantastic. Like, that was my favourite wooden roller coaster in the country today. That was running really, really well, towards the back of the train as well. But to be honest, it wasn't too rough, and I was actually sitting on a wheel seat, which are normally known to be the rougher seats, because you're sitting directly above the wheels. Again, same really with the Big Dipper. Quite a lot of the non-wheel seats are actually blocked off at the moment because of social distancing. But I tell you what, it was certainly good to get on there and give it another ride. But yeah, plenty of footage there from the Grand National, the Mobius Loop wooden roller coaster. And considering it opened in 1935, with that ride I had on it just, it was running quite well. I enjoyed that. Right then, down into Nickelodeon land then now, and this area always looks amazing when the sun's shining. It's just such a vibrant colour scheme down here, and a fantastic variety of family attractions, including Nickelodeon Streak, the wooden roller coaster with the orange colour we can see just over there at the back of the area. Now, it opened as the roller coaster in 1933, however prior to that, the lift hill and a couple of other parts of the ride were actually part of the Velvet coaster, and of course that's what the Wetherspoons down the road is actually based on. That's what it's named after, the old Velvet coaster here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. That closed in 1932. There was a big refurbishment, and it's basically a new ride really. There's only a few bits that remain from the Velvet coaster, mostly the lift hill and a couple of other smaller sections. And then of course we got the roller coaster. And then when Nickelodeon Land was put in, the theme was changed, the ride was all changed up, and then it was incorporated into the area. So let's head round this way. It looks like it's quite a queue, and of course it does run just one train. So firstly, you saw some off-ride footage there from Nickelodeon Streak. Great to get back on it, really good solid wooden roller coaster. Waited about 40 minutes for it, so not too bad considering it does only run the one train. Following on from that, I've done a few other rides, actually been on Icon twice, done a couple of re-rides, and we're now into the evening, it's 7 o'clock. And I must say, in terms of crowd levels, feels like Pleasure Beach is really starting to empty out a little bit now. It wasn't originally actually supposed to be a late night riding today. It was only announced a few days ago that every Saturday in August is going to be a late night riding through until 10 o'clock, and of course have the DJ as well. So yeah, I reckon a lot of people thought, oh, it's still a 7 o'clock close, and have made other plans. So yeah, it's really started to empty out, as we can see from the paths here, out the front of Wallace and Gromit Thrill-O-Matic. It's good that it's emptying out a bit really, because I've not been on any dark rides yet today. They've all been very, very busy. Earlier on I walked past Wallace and Gromit, and the queue was all the way down at the barriers here. As we can see now, it's absolutely empty. It's just inside, so maybe less than 10 minutes or so, I reckon, just up the ramp. So come and join me. I can take you on board on this one. It's Wallace and Gromit Thrill-O-Matic. Thriller-matic. Let's go on a dark ride.
We're going somewhere where there's cheese. Oh, that's quite enough. You'll be hearing from the solicitor about this. 5 RPM. That's rabbits per minute.
Rabbits for them. Triple straight on over them. Right at that.
Well, that went as well as could be expected from it, didn't it?
Absolutely awesome atmosphere this evening down here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. All the FY4 area is pumping with the DJ. You've got all the smoke machines up there, the LED lights, really good atmosphere, and that's only going to get better over the next couple of hours. Of course, as it gets dark here at Pleasure Beach. You saw some on-ride footage there from Wallace and Gromit, Thriller-matic, about a 5-minute wait, if that, really, pretty much straight onto the ride. Then made my way down this way, and I thought, you know what, let's go on River Caves. It's had quite a big queue all day. So yeah, I'm going to go on River Caves, another ride I can take you on with, and so yeah, come and join us. Earlier on, this queue was all the way out here. You can see all the fencing, what was set up there. That was very busy earlier. Now it's probably, what, 5-10 minutes tops just inside. So let's go on River Caves before we do some night rides. Here we go then. So I waited about 10 minutes for the mysterious River Caves. Got a boat to myself. Jellyfish effect. Love to see some more new effects in here actually, it'd be really nice. You go so fast through here when you're in a boat on your own. Not much weight in the boat. It's even more eerie in this final room where there's no audio working. We had the announcement just, but the soundtrack's just not on now. Of course, it makes like an announcement when you go into each room about the different scenes that you're seeing. Well, there you go, it's a bit spooky. Bin Bag Tunnel. Some on-ride footage there from the River Caves here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. What an absolutely wonderful evening it is here in Blackpool. The sun's going down, the lights are coming on, and that's when Blackpool really comes to shine. I love it when all the big floodlights come on around the park. You can see them just attached down here on the left-hand side. These ones, of course, light up Infusion. And I tell you what, it might be an SLC, and I might not be a big fan of it, but I tell you what, it looks absolutely gorgeous at night. And as does the big one that's also got all the big floodlights. They've just come on as well. And of course, over the next 90 minutes, gonna get some sunset rides and then a couple of dark rides. So I'm gonna head round towards the big one, get on there first, and the plan is to end the night on Icon. But over the next couple of minutes, I'm just gonna put in some more footage of Pleasure Beach as the sun goes down and capturing that golden hour. It really is absolutely wonderful here. Just that sun's going down, but also the lights are on as well. Look at that view, stunning. Look at that view. It's absolutely gorgeous at night here at Pleasure Beach, isn't it? As you've just seen there from some of the footage, the sun going down, and then a bit of off-ride footage there from the big one. Just had a ride on there, waited 45 minutes. Not too bad really for a night ride on the UK's tallest roller coaster. There's about half an hour to go now until ride close at 10 o'clock. As you can see from the paths, really emptied out here at Pleasure Beach. Gonna have a ride on Icon again now, and of course I'll put in some more footage of it at night. But with all the lights on the trains and shining up at the coaster, really is fantastic at night with the ambience around here. But yeah, look at that. I mean, there's nowhere else in the UK that just has this vibe at night. The lighting all around, and there's a lot of people out there that aren't too keen on the fact that the rides are lit up like this, because they'd rather it be pitch black for the rides. But in my opinion, I just really like all the lighting on. I just think it really adds to the atmosphere and the overall experience of it. So I'll put in some off-ride footage now from Icon here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, late night riding, August 2020. Let's go. absolutely incredible night ride there on Icon to end a fantastic 12-hour day for late night riding here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. The weather's been gorgeous, the operations have been good, and you know what, I've had a fantastic time here today. Got quite a few rides in. I could have definitely got more if I'd wanted to, but it was more about just going around, taking in the atmosphere. Had a perimeter walk around the park, went over to the Velvet Coaster Wetherspoons, so I took it quite chilled really today for a late night riding. Normally I try and go around, get loads and loads of rides in, but thought, you know what, it's a hot day, just want to take it in, soak up the atmosphere, and it's been really good. Icon there at the end was running absolutely fantastic, really good and ridiculously intense. I know a lot of people say it's not that of an intense coaster, and I would agree, especially early on in the day. However, it really does warm up, especially on a 12-hour day when it's had the heat on it as well, like it has done today. Absolutely fantastic. In terms of operations here, they've been good today. In general, from what I've seen, with social distancing, I think the park, you know, has really been about where maximum it should be really today. I don't think there really should be many more in than there was today, because some of the queues were quite busy, but then it did filter out towards the end of the night. The past 3 hours have been a lot quieter. Along with that, a lot of people who've been here today have been following the rules, but there's also been quite a few people who haven't as well. In the queue for Icon, and also the big one towards the end of the day, had people really close to me just behind in the queues. But you know, I found that it's worth just saying, you know, do you mind just taking a little step back just so I can keep the space, is the best thing to do. And then of course people give you a bit more room, but you know, it's one of those, isn't it? People really need to be following the markers and respecting other people's decisions on social distancing. But overall, it's been a really good day. Plenty of off-ride footage in the glorious sunshine here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. First time back in about 6 weeks, so it's been really nice to get here. I'm sure me and Charlotte will be back again at some point soon, in September I'd imagine, because we've got quite a bit coming up now over the next few weeks. I say coming up now, the past month and a half has been really busy on the channel, but we've got even more coming up, including a trip that's starting tomorrow in the vlogs with Pettit's. We're heading to Pettit's Animal Farm to start off our trip over to Norfolk. We're then going to Great Yarmouth Pleasure Beach, Pleasurewood Hills and Joyland as well. So stay tuned for those vlogs. It's me and Charlotte, and they're coming up starting from tomorrow at Pettit's. But there we go, what an absolutely wonderful day here at Pleasure Beach. I mean, the atmosphere here is amazing at night. I mean, look at all the lights with the music pumping out around the park. It's amazing. And then just after 10 o'clock, the music's off, the lights are still on, but it's just so magical and got that mysterious sort of atmosphere. But there we go. Thanks for joining me for another vlog here on Theme Park Worldwide. Of course, go and give us a follow on Instagram as well, at Theme Park Worldwide, for lots of different photos that we post throughout the day. And you can also follow us on Facebook as well. I'm Sean Sandbrook. Thanks for joining us. And here from Blackpool Pleasure Beach, that means it's time to cue those credits. See you all in Norfolk.